Hello guys, it's Robin from Consistent Life Balance and welcome to my YouTube channel. We are back sharing my father's experience of his first solid food vacation on nothing but juices. My father has already completed his 90-day juice fast. Wow, it's phenomenal. Congratulations to you for reaching your big goal of 90 days. It is probably such a great feeling having achieved a goal like this, which has been in your mind for a long time now.
Yes, indeed, it was for sure long overdue. But man, time has passed quickly and it was definitely an exciting experience, and I really went through a deep transformation physically and mentally.
Yeah, in the last video we talked about exercise, sleep, balance, hunger and cravings, specific juices and several more things during the juice feast. In this episode we will talk about how the refeeding has gone off, then about the Prune Test, the refeeding strategy, the weight loss and of course some more insights. But first of all, after 90 days of drinking nothing but fresh pressed juices, it is very important to transition slowly again to solid food. There's an old wisdom saying, any fool can fast, but it takes a wise person to break the fast properly. That means that the refeeding, so the reintroducing of solid foods, is the hardest part of this process. I believe with water fasting, you have to be careful even much more, but also when you had drunk nothing but juice for an extended period of time. It wouldn't be clever to start eating too much, or even worse, the wrong kinds of food.
Yes, I think it's best, Robin, when you explain the refeeding strategy.
Of course, we definitely said 1 week, so 7 days for the refeeding and we are still juicing on all of those days. We decided to do the first 3 days of breaking the fast 1 meal a day, and then the next 4 days of the first refeeding week 2 meals a day. And even after the first refeeding week, it is still somehow a refeeding because our body needs time. For one thing, our gut flora has to slowly rebuild itself, and for another thing, our stomach has also shrunk during that juice feast, and so it also has to get used to processing solid foods again. That's the reason why all of the meals were high water content mono fruit meals without any greens and salads, which we didn't even include in the second week, and first added them in on day 12 of the refeeding. I also believe another difference between a solid food vacation on juices and a normal eating routine is that on the one hand, a juice feast you get your calories and nutrients evenly distributed throughout the day, because it is best not to drink too big amounts in one sitting, but to split it up for several juices across the day. On the other hand, when you eat regular meals, you get a lot of calories and nutrients in one meal, like for example within 1 hour 1000 calories, no problem. And that's the reason why our body has to get slowly used to it, and we should start small. For sure, as first meal and for breaking the fast, we did the prune test, like John Rose recommends it, which means 250 grams of dried prunes soaked in water overnight. And then the next day for breakfast at 10 o'clock. First you drink the soaking water, wait 10 minutes and then slowly eat the prunes by consciously chewing. How was your experience of eating the prunes after having not eaten anything solid since 3 months?
Yes, it was a very good feeling. It definitely made me feel happy. Finally, something to bite again. At first I thought I could eat them all, but after half I quickly realized that I'm already stuffed. So I couldn't finish the prunes completely. About a half portion was still left.
Yeah, that's true. What happened then? What about your bowel movements?
You told me that in a clean system the prunes should optimally take about 3 hours to go through your whole digestive tract when you break your fast with them. And with me, honestly, it was hard to really recognize it when the prunes did come out. I had a bowel movement about 2 hours after the prunes, then after 6 hours, after 9 hours, and after 13 hours the last time, which was in form of diarrhea. It was very difficult for me to see the prunes in my stool in form of fibers or colors, so very undefined. It was just a brown, bulky mass.
Okay, interesting. So we don't know exactly when the prunes did come out. We can only assume that there's still work to do on cleansing and healing the digestive system, especially the colon. You told me that your stools sometimes come out like sausages, which is usually a sign that things take still too long to go through your food tube. Or it could also be that your colon has a compromised function in some way. We definitely think that the small intestine got deeply cleansed on this juice feast, but the colon has to follow in regards to its cleanliness and function. Next question, how did the first week of the refeeding went for you?
The first 3 days we said it was 1 meal a day. And what I have to say is that I really felt happy and thankful for eating the food. I pretty enjoyed eating and chewing again on solid food. The meals tasted very great and fortunately I didn't have digestive discomforts. Everything was fine and I also felt well balanced.
Yeah, I'm also happy that you are so disciplined and could stick to the refeeding protocol I gave you. Of course, you were still juicing on a daily basis. On the first 3 days, still a lot because when you only eat 1 meal a day, it is not sufficient in calories for sure and nutrients, and therefore the juices have to come into play here. We also decided to add something in the mix. What was it?
Yes, I started doing water enemas because I could feel that my colon would benefit from flushing it deeply out with water. All the toxins and waste which could still be potentially in there should leave my body, and that's the reason why we started incorporating these enemas.
Yes, I believe water enemas can be pretty beneficial during certain periods and can really accelerate the detoxification process because they help your body get rid of waste matter and toxins much quicker. But for sure, you should also need to be aware of the downsides of enemas, which is why I explained my father certain ways to do them and not doing them too often, because you also don't want to get dependent on them. We settled these enemas for the weekends, so we did them on Saturday and on Sunday after getting up, and from Monday to Friday no enemas. This is also great for agreeing with your work, right?
Yes, that's true.
How was the feeling for doing your first enema in your whole life?
Well, at the beginning I had very mixed feelings. It was totally new territory and a very unfamiliar thing to do. But I said to myself that if my son and my brother and many others made it and reported their positive experiences, I should not hesitate to do it too. In addition to that, the presentation of Markus Rothkranz in one of his videos was very convincing in the importance and simplicity of enemas to support our body in a simple, self-executing way in the elimination of undesirable things. In the course of the treatments, I became more and more experienced with it. I even relaxed, saw it as a kind of cure, where I could even listen to an audiobook.
Very nice. Now regarding the execution of these enemas, we decided to make 2 enemas each day in a row with 1 liter each. The first one should remove things from the day before, the second perhaps for flushing out long-standing stuff. The first colon irrigation should take a maximum of 5 minutes and the second one lasting a lot longer. 15 to 20 minutes for really soaking up any mucus plaque which could still be in there. And what have you noticed afterwards?
During these enemas, acoustic and mechanical bowel activity I always felt strongly. During the second flush on the second Sunday, the water even remained in my intestines for almost 5 hours. Also, I moved and massaged it again and again. This was very strange and I don't know exactly why this was. At the end of a total of 8 bowel rinses over different 4 days, my stool was much more differentiable. For the first time, I was able to recognize certain fibers and colors better.
Very nice. Our goal was to get a better feeling for your bowel transit time and to gradually improve it. So now regarding your weight loss on this juice feast, how much did you lose in these 90 days of nothing but juice?
That is simply said. In total, I lost maximum 8 kilograms. Before, I always weighed between 62 and 64 kilograms. My weight now fluctuates between 55.5 to 57 kilograms.
Okay, interesting. 8 kilograms weight loss in 90 days of juicing. How have been the meals for you so far, after this long time of eating no salted foods?
There's so much variety and each fruit tastes somehow unique. It was also a strong need for me to taste each single type of food, like a kind of Thanksgiving.
Yes, mono meals are ideal for finding out the optimal food amount because your body can really adjust to the specific one food which come in at one time. When you only eat one thing at a time, your body will process it in the most efficient way. As soon as you start combining things, the digestive process gets compromised. How does it taste like? Are you satisfied with the taste? I mean, it is all pretty simplistic without any irritants and spices.
Yes, I'm really satisfied with the tastes. I have eaten everything again with pleasure and curiosity to rediscover every new taste, to fathom and to compare it with that from the memory. My taste buds are very sharp now. Before the juice fast, I actually never had a bad taste. I tasted different flavors very well. I also avoided foods with many artificial additives, preferred naturally prepared meals. For example, I always knew what a ripe tomato tasted like. After the juice cure, I have to say the intensity of the individual aromas and tastes were clearly way more noticeable.
Yes, indeed, that's pretty common because we really heal our taste buds during the juice feast. I strongly believe that it's not about spicing and salting the food more with irritants, but to regenerate your taste buds so that everything just tastes amazing. What's your favorite food right now?
That's a difficult question. I really love all of the fruits. There are foods that I always liked, such as melons, cherries, bananas, mangoes, tomatoes, and cucumbers. I will continue to do so, but I also discovered papayas for me because I never got them truly ripe before, and they are really tasted when completely ripe. I think if I would have to choose my three favorite foods, then it would be mangoes, papayas, bananas. In retrospect, I'm also very grateful that my focus has now turned in a much more rewarding direction. I now enjoy shopping a lot more. It's way easier. I can walk through at least 90% of the shop items without thinking to buy them and go straight to the fruit and vegetable section to go on a discovery tour there. Many varieties of melons which I didn't pay attention to before have now become as lovable to me as the well-known watermelon. The avocado has also risen quite a bit in my ranking. I also learned a lot about the right maturity. I often even got a discount on beautifully ripe fruit, which should be disposed of. At this point, I would also like to highlight this spirulina algae, whose taste has become more and more familiar to me during my juice fast. I also experimented using it with other foods. They told me that spirulina is associated with a special taste sensation, the so-called umami, which is a Japanese word. For example, I mix it very well with spinach foam, which gets always formed when juicing. I find it very delicious. Later in the feeding, I mixed the powder with bananas or papayas. In this way, it balanced the sweetness that was sometimes a little too high for me.
Yes, very nice. From day 30 and on, we started incorporating fats again in form of avocado, starting with one small one. During the juice fast and in the first 2 weeks of refeeding, it was 1 to 2 tablespoons of flax or hemp oil. Later on, from day 16, we added some nuts and seeds in the mix, starting with hemp seeds, which are best to eat with a salad as last meal on the day, or even better, as finisher after everything. We chose hulled hemp seeds because they are, in my opinion, the easiest ones to digest and also the best ones in regards to the nutritional profile. In general, the goal for the refeeding and now for your eating plan is to find out your individual right amounts of food, calorie-wise, and the perfect macronutrient ratio, meaning carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. I gave some guidelines to follow in regards to macronutrient ratios, which was in the beginning low fat and fruit and green based. That's a great starting point, but at the end of the day, you have to find your right amounts on your own. You really have to tune into your body and closely pay attention on what it needs at a specific time. I also want to emphasize this to the audience at this point. Instead of looking what other people eat, instead of watching some kind of full day of eating YouTube videos where someone else shows what he eats, it makes way more sense to deeply listen to your own body. Because what do you think in the world knows best what you need at a specific time? Of course, your body does. My last question is, how do you feel right now?
I'm feeling great right now. I'm still in the discovery phase where I adjust my eating better and better to my needs. Overall, I feel energized. Normal executions are possible without restrictions. But also, I have to admit that my morning bike rides, which sometimes went uphill, exhausted me faster and faster. The strength and muscle mass in my legs definitely weakened, so that I now avoid long hikes. My mental power, however, increased subjectively.
Yeah, that's pretty common, that with many people the body loses its muscles first in the legs. The same happens with me all the time when I'm fasting, in a calorie deficit, or don't work out at all. That's the reason why I believe including strength exercises on your juice feasting protocol can be really beneficial in regards to holding on to muscle and strength. This is what I did on my 66-day solid food vacation last year, which is why I could keep the majority of my muscle and strength. On the one hand, we don't want to burden our body on a juice feast with too much exercise, but on the other hand, by intelligently stimulating your body with specific compound strength exercises, you can really trigger a muscle sparing effect. This is especially interesting for our next interview, where we will talk about your goals, your exercise program which you have set for yourself, a routine which you can integrate in pretty much any daily life without any specific equipment or fitness machines. I'm so excited how your process and your transformation will continue, the goals you set yourself and the opportunities which will be available for us. I just know that there's going to be a really exciting time coming. With that being said, that's it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed part 4 of sharing my father's first solid food vacation. Thank you for watching the video. In the next episode, we will talk about the plan for my father to continue regarding diet, raw vegan or not, his exercise regimen and the main goals with his health and fitness. So stay tuned, it is going to get exciting. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and we would be happy if you like, comment and share the video. We really appreciate the support and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below in the comment section. We wish you a fantastic day, see you soon, bye.